What is good, guys? I hope you're having an awesome day. Welcome back to the videos. Starting off this video a little bit late. We just got back from a Garage, which is the guys who will basically help support this single turbo build immensely. I'm going to show you guys some of the parts in just a second. We have Doug down here. I cleaned the garage. I don't know if you guys have noticed. We cleaned them. It is a little bit echoey in here, so I do apologize for the audio. But Douglas is currently eating grass. What are you eating, mister? Okay, you just look all sad. Everything's all nice and situated around the place. Well, you guys can see the new grease cut parts. But you guys can see I no longer have a big mess of parts down here. I've sorted them all out into what's going to go on the car and what's going to go off the car. Everything that is not going back on the car is currently up in shelves. This massive big box is full of twin turbo parts. And then you guys can see I have like these bits right here, which I don't know whether they have to be on the car or not. But no, Doug's just been hanging out in the garage. Looks like he's going to go back inside. But this is everything that we're going to be needing to go back on the car, minus obviously the cover from the best engine in the world, the almighty Barra, and also this turbo dump for the R33. So, as you guys can see, these are definitely looking a lot cleaner from when you probably last saw them. All of these parts right here, I have definitely cleaned up, had a bit of a paint. These ones here I polished up just a little bit, but they could do. I kept touching them and then I kept ruining it. I didn't film it, but I rebuilt the alternator. Originally I wasn't going to rebuild the alternator, but I kind of had to after I just wanted to pull the front cover off. Originally I was just going to do the whole back bit black, and then I was going to do the silver front housing, and then when I was trying to get the front housing off, I was just hammering it a little bit, just trying to loosen it up, and the whole core came out. So I had no idea how to rebuild an alternator. I had to quickly learn from a couple of YouTube videos how to put the brushes back in and hold them all down, and then how to separate the rotating assembly from the front housing, and then I ended up just pulling the whole thing off. So it actually came out a lot cleaner than originally I had hoped. You guys can see that we did like basically it all nice and fresh and silver again. It still spins and it looks good, so we're just going to leave it like that and just hope it works. Thermostat housing, which we may or may not be using, is here in silver, and then we also painted the lower intake manifold and the upper intake manifold in this beautiful bright silver. Looks almost OEM, looks awesome and nice and clean. So this is going to look wicked. I didn't want to bore you guys with a painting video, sorry, but anyway, I thought I'd quickly show you in the start of an exciting video where we're going to be working on the fueling system for the RX7. So if you guys didn't know, this car had the standard OMP. Everything was pretty much bog stock. We were running the standard injectors. I don't even think they were modified in any way, shape, or form, or whether that was even a thing, whether you could high flow them, I'm not quite sure. But everything is looking very bare, and it's time to start building the car again. And that is where these things come in. So we'll talk about this a little bit later. This is a very special thing. But if you guys can see, we have some Raceworks products right here. So a few of you guys, as well as a tuner and everyone, when they saw the last video where I was originally just going to go 1,000 primaries, 1,000 secondaries, which would have been perfect, or which would have been fine if I wanted to sort of have a little bit more leeway in terms of my tuning. And because we don't know exactly how this turbo is going to perform, the Hypergear ATR45 SS2, we're not quite sure. So I thought it'd be better than safe than sorry. We're going with a set of 2,000 secondaries, well 2,200cc secondaries. So we have two of them right there with Denso connectors, which will plug straight into the standard loom. And then we also have a set of Raceworks injectors right here. Well, they say Raceworks, but if I have a little look at the back of one of the packets that I have right here, it's Raceworks 1,100cc modified Bosch. So they're Bosch injectors. So we have a set of Bosch 2,200s and a Bosch 1,100 or 2,000 and 1,000cc injectors, which is going to be perfect for the primary and secondary on the RX7. Not only that, but for the fuel rail that we got, we also needed to go with a set of full length extender pieces. So these sit on top of the injector. These just extend the injector out to suit a full length fuel rail. And speaking of fuel rails, we also have this beautiful anodized black Raceworks fuel rail. It looks so different compared to every other fuel rail that I've had on every other one of my cars. This is an absolutely beautiful fuel rail. Probably the quality is very comparable to my Billet Performance Products fuel rail that I have in the R33. And as you can see, we have all the fittings there ready to go. So we're going to be doing AN lines basically for all the fueling. I'm probably going to do braided line as much as I can. I know that I already have some non-braided line there, but I have all the fittings there ready to go to braided. So we're going to go and grab that on Saturday. So we can't do any lines tonight, but I'm hoping to have everything fitted so I can measure it all up. Then I can just go straight to Motorsports Accessories on Saturday and go get all braided lines. So we're going to do all that tonight. And not only that, this is another very, very extra special part that we got from a Taka garage. And I don't know if you guys can notice by that very, very cool and very interesting looking tool on the very top there. Let's put that down there. We have a brand new Turbosmart 50mm external wastegate. This thing, I'm holding it really weirdly. This thing is absolutely beautiful, looks amazing, and yes, I am very keen. I think the one in the Falcon I had was a 45mm or 50mm, I'm not quite sure. I don't know, it's a lot bigger than I originally thought it would be. Like, I do have small hands, so it makes anything look big, if you know what I mean. But, yeah, especially gates apparently. So, yeah, brand new Turbosmart 50mm wastegates all in there. This one here is a base pressure of 14 psi. We are going to be running a Mac valve, so we don't have to open this up and change out any springs, which is awesome. So that is going to be going in the car, or we're basically going to be giving that as well as the turbo to Dan. And then as you guys can see, it comes with springs, it comes with all of the V-bands that we could possibly need, ready for Dan to weld them all up. Alrighty, so after doing a little bit of research, I found online, well, I actually found inside the actual rail, or inside the lower intake manifold, these little bad boys right here. I don't know if you can see them that well. I'll see if I can show you real quick. I'm doing that cool little, I don't know, doing that cool little focus trick that all the girls use on stuff when they're doing makeup tutorials. These little things right here, they actually sit inside your lower intake manifold. What are you complaining about? Do you want your beanie? No, that's Yoon Factory's beanie. You don't want to do that. He's obsessed with this beanie that Matt gave me. Is that the one you wanted? Apparently so. Apparently this is the one I wanted. But yeah, anyway, these little bad boys actually sit down and inside the manifold there. And what they do, I actually messaged Ryan from RMS because I couldn't find any information about whether I actually keep these or not with upgraded injectors. I thought it was just with a stock injector kit. But these actually help with spray, apparently. So if you can keep them, do it. I don't know whether they're better or worse or anything, but RMS likes to just leave these in. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be lowering these down into the plenum with a little bit of lube because I did try and clean these up. I completely forgot. So we're going to be doing that, putting in the things, and then also these little slimmer O-ring thingy things here, the spacers, will be sitting down in there on top of them. As long as they don't get in the way, then we should be fine. So we might have to do a little bit of mixing around and a little bit of things, but either way, whether we run these or not, doesn't really matter. We just have to make sure that they don't get in the way of this. So as long as the fuel rail all lines up perfectly with the full length injectors that we have, we should be fine. So let's get into it. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of playing around, just making sure to see what works. I'm just going to be using a little bit of bearing grease just as my O-ring lubricant. Probably not the greatest stuff for it, but doesn't seem to hurt anyone. Okay, so it looks like these are already going to get in the way of our rail. So I'm just going to quickly pop these out and not worry about them. If they don't get in the way of your injectors or anything, then I would suggest running them. But it doesn't really matter if you don't, that's completely fine. Alright, so now we're going to be installing one of the spacers. So these are the slimmer spacers. These should fit nice and snug up there, just like that. And do the same thing to the second one. So you don't force these too much, because they could potentially break that O-ring. I will double check all these to make sure we have no fuel leakage, because that would be bad. This is probably the hottest area of the rotary engine. Because like you literally have the plates and the housings and everything right here. If any fuel leaks down into here, it's pretty much game over. So it's going to have to be really safe, really cautious. All right, so now we get to the actual rail itself. I might move you guys back just a little bit so you can see. All right, hopefully you guys can see that. All right, so now that we have, I might get some more light. Alrighty, so first of all, we have our rail right here. I haven't tightened anything up just yet. I don't know exactly what connections we're going to need. How about I just bring them all over? So for this one here, this is our secondary rail. So we're going to need our Bosch 2000s. And I also have all the fittings here. I'll probably need to grab. Okay, so this rail right here is going to be sitting on top, as you guys can see. Why is that far away? Those injectors aren't the same width. Alright, so unfortunately it looks as though we may have got the wrong kit. It didn't line up whatsoever. So I neglected to check what I paid for, and I paid for the Series 4 and 5 injector rails. But that is completely fine. Things happen, so we're going to get that changed out. Ataki Garage is already on it. So yeah, hopefully we should have that by the end of next week. That'd be completely fine. We can finish off the fuel rail and everything. So just means we won't have any fuel rail stuff done this weekend, but that's completely fine because we're already way ahead of schedule and we still have to wait ages for the fabrication to be done for the single turbo anyway. So whilst we are having some fun anyway down here, and an effort to actually make this video worth something, the injectors and injector lengtheners are all here ready to go, so we're just going to be installing these. So these are all ready to go. As you guys can see, we have the Bosch 2000s. We also have this one right here, secondary 2000. Rightio. Let's crack these puppies open. So these have all been dynamically flow tested as well. So chuck them down there. And we also have these ones right here. So we managed to get 2 with the Denso plugs. Then we managed to get 2 with EV14 plugs. And then we got little connectors to go to Denso connectors. So made it nice and simple and easy for me, for someone that's never really wanted to play around with wiring looms and changing around stuff. So these lengtheners right here, to make them into full length injectors, are basically just going to sit on the very top right there. So just plugging them straight into there. So let's have a quick little fiddle around and let's get these all lubed up and start pressing them on. Alright, so we've got one on. It's going to put the caps back on as soon as it's done. So that then converts our 2000s, which I have mocked up. No, don't worry, there's a red dot for the 1000s. So yeah, that converts our short injectors into a full-length injector. So it's a very tight fit around these O-rings. Very, very cool stuff. It's kind of funny, I've really honestly, ever since, you know, finishing the 33, I've missed doing a long and lengthy build like this. I kind of, not only do I enjoy the whole process of doing this, if you guys get me, just like, as much as I like driving cars, I also enjoy having cars off the road and doing stuff like this. Like, I know this is going to make such an incredible difference to the whole driving experience of the whole car. I'm glad I got to at least experience it a little bit with twins, but I feel it's going to be so good and so much fun. And I kind of enjoy the whole long, lengthy, off-the-road process. I know that sounds really weird to some people, but I really do enjoy having cars off the road and building it like this. This is only the second time that I've ever had like a big build, and this is actually the first time where I've kind of just gone all out, money's no option, kind of really chasing some cool and awesome parts and good results. And I don't know, this is a lot of fun. Really enjoying myself. One last injector to go, making sure not to crush that O-ring there. Man, these 2000s are really tight, but they're on. Beautiful. Righto, so now we have a full set of full-length injectors, which is very, very cool. So, there we go. I'll quickly show you guys exactly what I mean by those longer plugs as well. So the standard injected plugs that we already have is the Denso plugs. So we have our primaries, then we have our secondary one there, and then one over here, I believe, or actually no, this one here, sorry. So they're all there ready to go. Believe it's EV14 or something that these ones already had. So we just converted them to the Denso plug as well, which is already on 13B manifold. So they plug straight in, and these are ready to basically be mounted into the fuel rail and into the car. So with that fuel rail, I've already installed these ones here, and I'm going to scratch them if I take them back out. So I'm just not going to worry about it when we change over the kit with the Series 8 one. I'm just going to leave these in and change them out with the other side. I might see if I can try and get them out tonight, but they're pretty tight in there, and I'm most likely going to scratch it up when I take them out. So So either way, that it's all right. We're gonna leave them in there, and yeah. Sorry guys, I was hoping to have it all mounted up and ready to go, but fortunately these things do happen. We do get wrong parts from time to time. That's just how it all works. Got to take the good with the bad. It's completely fine. Once again, we're in no rush whatsoever to have this car done. So, as well as the Bosch 1000 and 2000s and the Raceworks fuel rail, in terms of our fuel pressure reg, we have a Turbosmart FPR 800, which was already in the car, thankfully, from the previous owner, which is cool. All the lines, unfortunately, are just rubber hose. There's nothing really wrong with that. I'm just going to be upgrading to braided. I'm just going to have a lot more peace of mind with the braided lines because rotaries do get so incredibly hot. That other side of the engine bay gets so incredibly hot with the turbo and the manifold and the engine and everything just trapping heat down in there. I don't want to risk it with any rubber lines holding fuel down there because that could mean my second car up in flames. That would not be fun. And then also a couple of days ago, I pulled out the fuel pump in this car. I have had word from a few people, it's shut, damn it. I had word from a few people that this car had a 525, this car had a 460, and then apparently this car had a standard fuel pump. I'm not quite sure. A lot of people told me a lot of different things from people who have worked on the car. However, once again, Ryan from RMS helped me out when he was building the car, and we managed to nail down that this car actually has a 460 in it. So I had to double check that. I pulled out the fuel pump, and sure enough, we have a Walbro 460 in there, which is perfect. It's exactly what we need. One thing I did find though is that the submersible hose in the back there has actually ballooned up. So we're gonna have to be replacing that submersible hose down there as well. We don't want that splitting and potentially giving us low fuel pressure, because low fuel pressure could mean no rotary anymore. So then I'm also in the talks with Link at the moment in regards to an ECU potentially for this car. Once again, I don't mind running the Power FC for a little bit. However, I do really want to go a Link just like the R33 we've been using in the past. I've really enjoyed using Link products, and I've been learning a little bit about the tuning side from HP Academy for the R33. They do some really, really cool free videos, and I'm probably going to be paying for their course very, very soon. I really want to learn more about that. So yes. Anyway, so yes, we could be potentially getting a Link. With that, I'm also going to want to be getting a few sensors. So first of all, I really want to put a fuel pressure sensor in here somewhere, as well as oil pressure, coolant temp. I'm not too stressed about coolant temp, to be honest, because I really want to set that up with the gauge pod that we have in there. I want to have that as a nice big gauge so I can see it all the time and get rid of that horrible handheld Apexia Power FC controller. I hate the look of it. It looks terrible, and it keeps falling down off my windscreen. It's just annoying and bulky, and I don't like it. Just doesn't vibe with the rest of the interior. So yeah, we're going to be changing that out. One thing I really want to try and find is, another thing we're going to be running on the Link is EGT and AFRs, so exhaust gas temps and air fuel ratio. One thing I really want to find out, which a lot of you guys probably might know in ways you can help me, I want to display my AFR up on a gauge. However, I don't really want to be running, I want to have like safety parameters in the Link ECU, which I can get into, like, let's say I have a little controller or something in my glove box so I can see them. However, on my gauges, I really want to run a boost, AFR and coolant temp on my dash. And then in my glove box, I want to have like a little tiny thing. I do actually have the power tune in here as well. I just have the power tune sitting down there in my random junk drawer at the moment because we haven't actually put it back into the R33 just yet. But we could potentially use it for the RX7 and just have it down in that glove box so I can display oil pressure and a few little things. I don't want to put it out in the dash because I really love the way that this dash looks. Sorry, I'm mentally brainstorming right now and just loading it all out into the camera, sorry. So yeah, if we come into the car, I don't know if you guys can see because there's not very much light in here, but you can see we have the triple gauge pod, which I really want to be running like boost, AFR and coolant temp, or the other way around, or however way that works. The down here is probably big enough to run a dash of some description, like the digital dash, and I can reach it from over here, but I don't really want to have anything covering up any of the dash because I really love the way that these things look all stock. One thing I wanted to ask though is if you guys knew a way to get a just a gauge of some description that plugs into the Link, so that way the Link can see what my AFRs are and then display it up here, because I really don't want to have to run two wideband sensors to my exhaust, because that would just, it would be stupid because there's already one in the car. It would be extremely expensive to do so. And 3, I don't really see the point of running that when I could just display it down here and not stress about it. So I'm not entirely sure myself. I really want to be checking those parameters, especially when I'm up through the mountains, making sure that my AFRs are okay, and making sure that my coolant temp's okay, and making sure that we're not going to be over boosting this car. Oil pressure, I'm not too stressed about, because we can set it up on the Link software to immediately cut the engine as soon as low oil pressure is found. It's probably going to be a lot quicker on the Link, because we can set up a parameter on the Link software to cut completely either all power or something along those lines if we have low oil pressure, which would be a lot quicker of a response if the Link saw that the car had low oil pressure than I was to see that a gauge showed me that I had low oil pressure, than to pull over on the side of the road and turn it off. I think that'd be a little bit safer for the car to immediately do something if it had low oil pressure, so I'm not really too stressed if I don't have a gauge for oil pressure. However, yes, one thing I do want to really keep an eye on is boost, coolant temp, of course, and AFRs to make sure that it's all sitting within it. So if there's a gauge out there that you guys know of that can talk to the Link, that can talk to the Link ECU, and that can show me on a gauge what my AFRs are, that's reading it from the Link, I would really, really love to see that in the comments. I don't know myself, I've been looking around a little bit, but I'm not quite sure. Douglas, what are you doing? You excited to go in this car again one day? Yeah? What do you reckon? He actually doesn't like this car at all. He hates the fumes. He's gonna love it when it goes 85. Oh, you're back. You gonna get up in the car? Come on. Look at you go. Are you enjoying yourself, mister? Yeah? Do you like Dad's car? Yeah? Alright guys, thank you so much everyone for watching. Sorry it didn't go out as way like how I'd planned. I just quickly just completely mentally mind dumped you guys, and then also didn't fit up anything what we would have liked to. Ataka Garage is already on it, getting to replacing that Raceworks fuel rail with a Series 8 one. So fingers crossed everything goes smoothly and that works up perfectly. All of our injectors are ready to go, so I'm going to put these down with the new parts pile down there, get them all sorted, and then yeah, so hopefully we get this all sorted, and fingers crossed this thing is going to be firing on all cylinders very, very soon. It's going to be a lot of fun. See you guys later. Have a good one. Peace.
Yeah, and first of all, I'm not trying to be someone I'm not. Well, there's plenty different ways for you to go and get your props. You don't need to try pretending living lifestyles you ain't got. That's that shit I told myself when I was low and feeling lost. Learning lessons pay the cost while they watching Hugo.